right, level 2 semester astronomy. Welcome back. Mr. Krug coming at you. And it looks like we've got some rare astronomy after midnight. Mr. Krug was out watching a WWE pay-per-view with his brother-in-law, and it was good, but we're getting a late start on our plotting tonight here. Sorry, the island's in a little bit of a disarray. Mrs. Krug got a succulent of the month club starting from a friend for Christmas. I think Mr. Krug's going to like that a little bit better. Gotta love those succulents. So here's our Wintertime Sky, everybody. You can see our list is shorter than Academic Astronomy's list, but we still got a couple challenges. So let's start out on our O1 chart. Notice it's starting to get pretty full. We've got our summer, our fall, and now our winter time. The only thing Mr. Krug has that you won't have yet is our spring sky, which we'll get to a little bit later. So here's how your winter sky should look on your full chart, your O1 chart. I used a nice seafoam green this time. We've got the most famous constellation on the sky, Orion, the mighty hunter, with his easy-to-spot belt of 3 stars. We can use these as a sky mark and first follow it up this way to a V-shaped group of stars that makes up the face of Taurus the bull, classically seen as battling Orion on the sky. I like to think of Taurus, everybody, as the oldest constellation on the sky. Our ancestors were first depicting it as a bull on cave walls in France upwards of 17,000 years ago. Now, as we learned from Pegasus and Andromeda in the fall sky, technically, constellations can't officially share a star, but the same thing happens here. Out at the tip of Taurus's horn, it connects to Orijah the charioteer. This would have been the man who drove the chariots back in the time of the Roman gladiators while they dueled on the back. The one tricky thing here in Orijah, everybody, do color in these 2 lines right here, even though they're right on our 6-hour mark. That is part of the unofficial stick figure of Orijah. Next up, we have another constellation of the zodiac, along with Taurus the bull. We've got Gemini the twins with their bright twin stars, Castor and Pollux, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And finally, friends, we have Orion's loyal and obedient hunting dogs, Canis Major and Canis Minor, the big and little dogs. So on this chart, even though it seems like a lot, we only have 6 constellations. Now, where it starts to go down, everybody, is the T chart. There's a lot of stars and objects that we have to add here. And my colored pencils weren't quite cooperating tonight. I love the colors, but I couldn't get any of them very sharp. They're a little bit duller than I want. Now, after we connect the dots to make the same constellations for step 2, everybody, we also want to include our 1 asterism that we have here on the Wintertime Sky. This, my friends, is the winter W. So it's going to connect Procyon in Canis Minor down to Sirius, the dog star, the brightest star on the entire night sky. It checks in at a magnitude of -2, very, very bright. So Procyon to Sirius, then up to the armpit of the mighty one, in Arabic Betelgeuse, this red supergiant star in Orion's shoulder, down to the bright blue supergiant Rigel in the hunter's foot, and finally, everybody, this part gets tricky, up to the red giant star called Aldebaran, the eye of the bull in Taurus. So notice how I did it. Do a really light dotted line, otherwise your winter sky will get too jumbled up. Add your winter W. Now, in terms of stars and objects, there's a lot of them. Not as many as academic astronomy, but still a fair amount. And so you really have to watch how you space out your names here so it all makes sense. Make sure you use a different color for your stars than you did your constellations. And again, notice everybody, our constellations and asterisms are in capital letters. Our stars and objects are in lowercase. So here in Orion, we have Betelgeuse and Rigel. Also add M42. This is our Orion Nebula. It's unique because they don't actually use the diamond shape here. They just show a couple close stars, but that is where the hunter's sword hangs below his belt. It's a beautiful star-forming region. Now, Taurus is very challenging, everybody. We have not 1, but 2 star clusters. The Pleiades, or the 7 sisters, are definitely the most famous. But then we also have an older star cluster beginning to spread itself out on the sky. This group, everybody, is called the Hyades. So what I recommend from the vocab list is basically highlight the entire V shape with a dotted line and write Hyades. Be careful, because you can see on the full chart, it doesn't even say the name Hyades anywhere here. But on the T-chart, you have to add it right here. Technically, Aldebaran's not part of the Hyades. It's actually much closer to us than the rest of the V shape, which is farther away. But for now, you can include that too. Up here in Orija, everybody, above this cute little triangle, which is actually a bonus asterism called the baby kids, little baby goats, we have their mommy goat star Capella, very, very bright star in the sky, a top 10. Here in Gemini, we have the twin stars Castor and Pollux. Down here in Canis Minor, we have Procyon, and then that brings us the whole way back to Sirius. So get a good look. Here is how your winter sky should look on your SC01 T-charts. All right, everybody, that takes us just to about the 6-minute mark for this video. So please have some fun plotting your wintertime sky. And as always, friends, make sure you follow these 4 steps right here at the bottom. Very important. Good luck, Astro Teens. Peace.